Less than 10% of the population lived in the West. Less than 10%. Where do we say that? Where do they say that? Less than 10% is where? Only 1/12 of the population had lived in 1830. But you have to know when the Civil War is. But the fact is that this passage doesn't indicate when it is. You have to just infer from the passage. And the question and the options are not very clear. But in the actual TOEFL tests, the question itself and the options will be clearer. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's just try to infer, okay? So let's see. If you see here, right? No, after this. Until after the Civil War. So after this paragraph, you can think that everything is after Civil War. So which is after Civil War then? There's no year mentioned. And let's look before the Civil War. 1803, 1804, and 1848 is before the Civil War. Okay? The Civil War was actually 1860 something, alright? Anyhow, so for the things that's written before this paragraph, you can see it as, you can consider it as before Civil War, and after this, as after Civil War, except for this part, because this part mentions the two periods. Okay, this is the last paragraph. Okay. So what was the option again? Less than 10%. Okay. Whereas 1/12 of the population has done in 1830. So from the passage we can know that Civil War is after 1848. So 1830 is what? Before, right? So this option goes to before. Okay, it often took months to get from east to west. This is right, oh no. This is when? Before, obviously before, right? Let's look. This was when? The sailing time to California was measured in months. It took months. That was 1803, 1804. Do you understand? So it's before the Civil War. So this goes to before. Number 4. And number 5, there were no Native Americans living there. When Lewis and Clark went there, right, there was, the land was empty except for the natives and the white hunters. So there was no time mentioned when no Native Americans lived there. So we're going to leave number 5 out. Okay. So number 6, the Transcontinental Railroad connecting the country was completed. This was after, right? After the Civil War. And then the paragraph next. Where's this? Where's the, yeah. After the Civil War, Transcontinental Railroad was completed. So this is after the Civil War. Oh my goodness. Did we do it? Oh, number 7. About 33% of the American population. This is in the last paragraph, right? What is that? Only one third is 33%. You have to know that. It's math, right? One third of America's population lived in the West. Means by 1870. So, but they're saying while they 1/12 lived in 1830. So we don't know from this passage, but we can infer that 1870 is most likely after the Civil War. It's difficult because it doesn't mentions it, but it will be clearer in the actual test, so you don't have to worry. So this would be after the Civil War. You understand? Okay. Very nice. See you next time.